Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about dispositors, planets dispositors, because I feel like the dispositing planet of another planet is its heart, is its soul, is its spirit and essence. And in many respects, it gives the quality of what that planet is all about. So it's like its soul. And I wanted to show you, when you look at any chart, to always look at planets that may be in their own sign of rulership, because those planets are extraordinary. And many of the other planets will disposit to that planet. Sometimes there is one planet that is the sole dispositor. And sometimes when you look at that, all the planets will focalize, so whatever that planet is, what house it's in, will be a major reference throughout that person's life. So I thought I might put up the chart of Princess Diana, just so you could see what I'm talking about with dispositorship. Everyone knows who Diana was, and most people really loved Princess Diana because she represented the people. She was somebody that was down to earth, even though she was in royalty, and the commoners really felt connected to her. So let's put up her chart. Here's Princess Diana's chart, and you will find that her ascendant is Scorpio. But if you'll follow around the planets in terms of their dispositorship, let's first go to the moon. The moon is in the 4th house, representing her home, her mother, and it's with K2, which Princess Diana did not have a very good relationship with her mother. Something was always missing, and wherever K2 is in a chart is what people feel like is always lacking, missing. There's a drain. It's not ever complete. So the moon in this chart is in Aquarius. Aquarius in Vedic astrology is ruled by Saturn. So when you go to Saturn, Saturn is in Capricorn. So the moon disposits to Capricorn, Saturn. Therefore, the mother wasn't warm, loving. There was like the essence of that was detached, cold. That's what Capricorn can be about. And it's in the 3rd house, which Diana didn't have the greatest relationship with her brother during her life, on and off, but there was a connection between mother and siblings by the fact that it disposits to Saturn. Now, if you go to Jupiter, Jupiter is in Capricorn, so Jupiter disposits to Saturn. So you see there's a lot of energy, the moon and K2 for that matter, which is in Aquarius, and Jupiter, which is in Capricorn, they all relate to Saturn. And this was how she felt. This is how she communicated with both this Jupiter and Saturn, but a very Saturnian way, where she was sort of businesslike, but feeling, but she had to be that royalty where she had to be not connecting with people personally, maybe through the masses, but she was afraid, actually, for the most part, to speak in public. And this is what you can see this well in her speeches. She was nervous, and that's the communications. But let's go over to where Mars is in Leo, because Mars being in the 10th house with Rahu, Uranus, this is the violent, crazy situation that she was in as being a royal in the family, that she didn't feel welcome. And that's another thing about the K2 being in the 4th house. She didn't feel welcome in this family. She didn't feel loved, appreciated. And that's where the Mars, Rahu, Uranus is situated in her reputation. People saw some of the things. She was the first to come out with the truth of what's going on in the family. They didn't like it. So, but Mars being in Leo is ruled by the sun. So Mars disposits to the sun, and the sun is in Gemini in the 8th house. Remember this, the 8th house is the house of scandals, disgrace, humiliation. She was very humiliated in this life. She didn't want the world to know that her husband, Prince Charles, wasn't in love with her. This was part of the scandal. This is part of what destroyed her marriage and relationship with the family. Look at that, the sun disposits from Mars to the 8th house. Plus the sun rules the 10th house of her social standing and reputation. She died. The 8th house is not only scandals, but it's death. She had to divorce, but notice that the sun being in Gemini disposits what? To Mercury, ruler of the 8th house in the 8th house. That's pretty tough. This ruled her untimely death as well. Another thing off subject that I think is pretty intriguing is when you look at her astrocartography chart. Astrocartography is where you take your chart and you put the lines of where all the planets are around the globe. Mercury's line was actually in Paris, where she died in that accident. But to have the sun, Mars disposits to the sun disposits to Mercury, and this is the focal point of this dispositorship, being in the 8th house of death, of disgrace, humiliation. You can see that's a focal point. Another focal point in this chart is when you look at Venus. Venus is what I call a soul dispositor. It is disconnected from the other planets. It disposits itself and it's not connected to the other planets. Sometimes this is actually what this planet means. It's not connected to other planets. Even though Venus being in Taurus in the 7th house could mean a very desirable partner, very wealthy. And actually, when we look at the sun, Mercury being in the 8th house, they're second from the 7th, representing her husband's money by the 8th house. Mercury is ruler of that house in that house, which would represent great wealth from the partner. But at the same time, it is the 8th house. And not to mention her sun and her Mercury were in what nakshatra? You hear me talk about the nakshatras all the time. They're in Ardra. Symbol is a teardrop, represents tragedy. This is where the planets focalize and disposit. The Mars, Rahu, Sun all disposit to Mercury in the 8th house. In the nakshatra Ardra, she wasn't happy. She was so distressed and sad. That's how you read a chart. You must look at dispositors. You must see how a planet unfolds as its heart, its soul, its essence. The reason why that planet operates the way it does, its soul essence, is its dispositor. And if you see one planet is the main dispositor in the chart, that house it's in will be the result of what is experienced for the most part in a lifetime. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information about me, you can always go to my website, sign up for my free newsletter, which is galacticcenter.org. Or if you would like to learn Vedic astrology, take these lessons to the next level, study with me online. Check out my university website, which is universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.